Fox News over the weekend decided to discuss liberal bias in the media. The example that one of the guests gave is just embarrassing.
Well, I don't think there's been any secret that there's liberal bias at CBS going back to when Walter Cronkite denounced the Vietnam War and by LBJ's admission drove him out of the White House. I mean, that was
liberal bias.
That was going on for a long time.
That was based on a reporting trip to Vietnam, I will remind you.
That was, but that was the liberal point of view against the war, wasn't it? I mean, but I'm not saying it's wrong. I worked for CBS in the early show throughout the Bush years, and I can guarantee you almost no one there I can think of voted for Bush, I'm sure. I didn't either, so it didn't bother me. I think the point is fess up to it, and then you'll be as critical to the people you support as those you don't.
I can tell you from firsthand as well that there is liberal bias in the media.
Where do I begin? The Vietnam moment is universally viewed as historic because what it was truth-telling on TV. Finally, some truth-telling on TV. So essentially the argument that they're making is factual reporting has a liberal bias. You can't make it up. Well, you got us there, man. Guilty as charged. Factual reporting does indeed have a liberal bias. It's unreal. It's unreal that, and furthermore, if you think about the way the media actually functions, it's nonsense that there's a liberal bias in the mainstream media. We've gone over this a million times. MSNBC, their bias is a democratic bias. There's a big difference between a liberal bias and a democratic bias. Democratic means whatever the party says. So if the party decides to act conservative, well, then MSNBC is going to be fairly conservative on those issues. So MSNBC, democratic bias. Fox News, a Republican bias. CNN, a neutrality bias. You always got to call it 50-50. And a sensationalism bias. And the rest of the mainstream media, it's a neutrality bias and a sensationalism bias, which means that you always got to cover stories about Kim Kardashian or cover the Malaysian missing flight for 27 hours straight because it's sensationalism. Everybody, oh my God, look, this is interesting. Plane missing. Let's speculate for hours with this toy plane. That's the sensationalism bias. And the neutrality bias is how can we give 50% credit to Republicans and 50% credit to Democrats? Now, realize something. In a weird way, the neutrality bias is actually a conservative bias. Because, let's call it what it is. Liberals tell the truth more often than Republicans do. That's a fact. In fact, they did, I forget what university did it, but it was at, somebody did a meta-analysis of the comments covered by Politifact. The ones made by Democrats, ones made by Republicans, and ones made by liberals and conservatives. And liberals just tell the truth more. It was just empirically so that liberals tell the truth more. So in the process of trying to make everything 50-50, they end up favoring conservatives. Because it's probably, 80-20? 80% of the things, the liberal things said are true. Maybe 20%, and I'm being fair to conservatives. 20% of the things they say are true. So when you make it 50-50, you're skewing it towards conservatives. So they have it exactly backwards, man.